So as you can see, we are doing this a little differently today. This is Stitches and Sundries floss tube number 32 slash, yeah, I know, right? Slash end of the year wrap up. It is December 19th, and Devynn is a little under the weather.
I'm sick, guys. I'm sick.
She was sick enough that we were like, well, first she's gotten 2 COVID tests, so you're doing good there. You're okay.
Yeah, not COVID. Not COVID.
Just childrenly gremlin-y germs.
Yeah, it's the snots are real. I'm very beautiful. So I've had a fever for 4 days. So today is Sunday. I had a fever all the way up until Thursday. Thursday was my first night without a fever. That was nice. I do not have COVID. I do not have the flu. It has now become bronchitis, but whatever it was before was unidentified. But it wasn't COVID or the flu.
Nice.
And overall, I was never wiped out by it.
That's good. That's good. But I didn't want it, so we're jerry-rigging this together today to test out doing this remotely. Also, Devynn now lives enough away that every once in a while doing it this way would be convenient. The weather getting bad and stuff like that for winter.
Yes.
This is a good test run for us. So
so introductions are important.
Oh yeah. We're supposed to do introductions. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Devynn.
And you can find me on Instagram at LaurenUpStitching.
And you can find me on Instagram as Devynn_no-loose-ends. Yay!
So we are doing our end of year wrap up, talking about our finishes this year, what we've accomplished, what we are, proud of, what we liked about the projects we did. This is a floss tube where we talk about cross stitch, so that's what we're going to be showing.
It's gonna be a finish parade.
It is. So I got my book, which has all my info about these projects. So I guess we'll just hop right into some holiday finishes. No, not holiday finishes, just holiday spirit finishes.
Yes, this is our year-end wrap-up.
List with everything.
That list. I don't know what I'm doing here. I had to rearrange some things. So some of our finishes aren't with us anymore because we do a lot of gift stitching between the two of us. So at the end of this video, we're going to have a picture parade of anything that we finished but do not have with us any longer. So
right. Yep.
Enjoy.
So I'm trying to look here to see if I can very quickly figure out what order I finish things in, and that's just not going to happen. So I'm not going to be that organized. So
I don't think we need to be that organized.
No.
You have been a stitching queen. I have been a sad little stitcher this year.
Well, you just started this year, I think, right?
Well, I started last year in October-ish or something, cross stitching. Because I stitched Mario last year. So I haven't been stitching for very long. I am a slow stitcher. And then I realized that in June of this year, I kind of started stitching. I started 4 large stitches.
Yeah.
And then I added another one around Halloween for the witchy stitcher. Yeah. And so I have not finished anything because I had all these large projects going.
Yeah, I felt the same way. When I started writing out, what do I actually have done? I think I texted you and I was like, I don't feel like I had much. I only have I think 14 to 15 pieces. And you're like, some of those are really big. And I was like, yeah, but like it
big
still
finishes.
doesn't feel like much, but it's because we did big pieces this year.
Yeah.
So. Not like
not
like heaven and earth pieces, but like big for us.
Big for us, yeah. Well, I have all small finishes. I mean, I think they're medium. They're not small. They're medium projects. One might be small, but I only have I have 4 total finishes, and that's really sad.
Wow.
But I'm happy with all of them. And the funny thing, Lauren, is I have 4 finishes. One of them's not here.
That happens.
Because I'm sick, I was gonna get the one I finished from Lizzie, but because I'm sick, I decided not to. Hey, can I have this thing while I'm sick, and then I'll give it back to you after
Covered in germs? Yeah. With your child in your house? Yeah, that'd be great.
So anyway, sounds like you have a lot. Why don't you get us started?
Okie dokie, okie dokie. So I'm just gonna go through my book as I wrote them down. I'm just gonna put them in here. So, I have all my finishes like piled around me because you're not here on the couch of.
So the couch is taken over.
Oh my gosh, I have to tell this story. Hang on, I have to interrupt this story. So we had friends visit from Texas and they stayed with us. And our guest room is in our basement. And they also had a dog that could not be around other animals. She was just too aggressive to be around other animals. So they had to be quarantined down here, basically. Like the dog had to stay down here. We do have an outside exit, so they were able to like take the dog out whenever. Like the dog was A-okay, like no problem. But I was like, here's the bedroom. Here is the there's like a rec room type space. And those 2 rooms over there are storage, one of which is the podcast room. Implying like, don't go in those rooms. Well, turns out one of the people's a bit more nosy than I thought, or they were looking for something, I don't know. But they opened the door and came into this room and were like, what is this down here? And David, her husband, was like, I think it's like for photography. And she's like, that's not photography, that's filming. And he jokingly said, oh, it's where she films her OnlyFans.
Oh God.
And I was like, and she like came up and had a conversation with me like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to go in that room, but now I'm like, what is that room for? Like, I'm not judging you, but like, and I mean, it's totally okay. I was just like wondering, it's like, it would just like put some like context on our friendship. And I'm like, I film a podcast about old lady crafts. Like, I was like, she's like, oh, you told me about that. I was like, would that have changed our friendship if I did? Like, what if it was a whole, what if it was my casting couch? Like,
oh my God, that's hilarious.
So now this room has just like a very odd.
It's been tainted. It's a new vibe.
Yeah, it's just a very different vibe now. Like, oh yes, this is where I film my OnlyFans in front of my birthday craft.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
With all the crafts art on the wall behind you.
So anyway, all right. So this one here, which I have to be a little careful grabbing. Earlier, Dusty decided this was her seat. So, so this one is.
Look at that beautiful finish.
I'm going to kind of bring it a little closer here. So this is Horrific Halloween by Stoney Creek. I'm trying a little. Oh God, I'm not quite tall enough.
My arms are not long enough.
All the way up. It's so long. There we go.
Oh my God.
So this one was a pattern of the month by Stoney Creek. It was like released. You would get the pattern for free. And I used all the called for flosses and fabric. It is on 28 count Lugana called Vintage Stormy Nights by Stoney Creek.
Pretty.
It is so pretty. I love this thing. Look at this. Look at this little witchy. the ghost.
And it has all kinds of cute little button details. And
oh yeah, all the
threads.
buttons are custom buttons.
Cute.
The ghosts and the little skull glow in the dark. This was when I started cross stitching in 2018. I think this was the second or third pattern I ever picked up, and I was like, oh, it's little sections, totally easy, and then had no idea how to like stitch on Lugana or anything. Like it was dumb. So I had gone in a drawer for a very long time. And I finally got it out and finished it up this year. I got this little hanger is also from Stoney Creek. I like got all the things. Yeah. And yeah, so I finished this in June of 2021, and it was like a huge milestone to get this guy done off the thing. And I love it. It is perfect. Was out all Halloween, actually, like all the way until like November, because I've been really bad this year about changing out my decorations. They go way too late. So yeah, so I'm pleased with that one.
And then when it's not out for Halloween, it hangs in the podcast / OnlyFans room.
Yes.
Yeah, so now
it just really adds a vibe. So yeah, so that was one of my bigger finishes this year. And like literally when I picked it up in, I think I started working on it in 2020. I only had one section done. So to finish all 7 sections by.
That's a lot of stitching.
Yeah, it was really good. Do you want me to do another one?
You have a lot. You said you have 14. I have 4, so we should probably sprinkle mine in.
I think I had 8 cross stitch.
Oh, okay.
Like 1. I'm counting my list.
Do another one. Oh my goodness.
I have 10. I have 10 cross stitch. Okay. Next one in my book is one I started in I also started this one in 2020. Really?
What one?
That must have been. So this one is also 2020. This one is.
Yep, you started that in 2020. I remember it.
Halloween Ouija by Tiny Modernist.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
Witchy. Oh, where's the crow? I like the crow.
I love the moth at the top.
Oh yeah, the moth is fantastic.
That's a good moth.
Yeah. This is by Tiny Modernist. It's called Halloween Ouija. I started it in July of 2020 and finished it in March of this year, 2021. I finally like completely got it done in October though, like framed, fully done. Just in time to like put it out for Halloween for like minutes. Let's see here. I stitched this on 28 count Lugana from Fiona's Craft Cottage. This color is called Cappuccino Froth, and I love it.
And I love the feel of that fabric.
It's gorgeous. And I've talked about this a couple times. Like I love this fabric. It was like one of my favorite to stitch on. And her Etsy shop has been like on hiatus for a little while. She just reopened with a bunch of new colors. So hop back in there and support her because she does awesome stuff.
Yeah, her fabric is nice.
Yeah, her fabric's very nice. I did the Weeks Dye Works conversion, so I've got this like bit of modeling in my house here. Like all that is.
I think it added a really nice texture to that stitching.
Yeah, it really did.
It's amazing, like when you use the specialty threads, the subtle difference that it makes. Like,
yeah,
you don't need it, but it makes it seem nice. Like it's nice.
Yeah, it's just a little extra, when you're doing something like that.
Your white for the moon, I really love that. Like it's like kind of like a chalky white, and I love that it's not like just a sharp white.
Oh yeah, on the moon.
Yeah, And like all the white detail and that pretty much was the same.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. So this one was up. I got a lot of compliments on it. We had a Halloween pumpkin carving with family, and people were like, whoa, that's really cool. And it was pretty fun because this is the first time I've had like more than just like a piece that people can miss up on my walls.
Right.
Like I had this up, I had the banner up, and I was actively working on the Haunted Mansion. And people were like, oh, like,
this
wow, you can really do stuff with this. Like, it was really cool.
Yeah, it's not just like little piddly stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't just little piddly stuff. And it was, I think, especially like Tiny Modernist and the Stoney Creek banner I just showed are especially like very whimsical Halloween. And that just like, people just love that. They're instantly like, ooh, that is just cute and fun and great. So
yeah,
it was nice.
So I think you should show one more because, like I said, I have 4. So you're 3 to mine.
That sounds good.
Should work out. That we're kind of spread out.
All right. So moving away from Halloween a little bit.
What?
Just a little bit. Just one time. Sort of, but I totally counted it for these are also all part of, I did the 21 Halloween finishes in 2021 challenge on Facebook for the Facebook group. And so I counted this one as well. But yeah, I stitched it for spring. This is Beggar's Luck.
That is super cute too.
So cute. Yeah, so that crow turned out fantastic.
That crow is fabulous.
This one is by Threadwork Primitives. And I stitched it on 28 count linen, called Vintage Smoky White by Zweigart. And it turned out great. I started this in April of 2021 and finished it in May. So this was a very quick stitch for me. This is a great size too. Like I felt like I got something substantial and it didn't take long to do at all. So.
And you modified it, right? You added a modification.
Oh yeah, I did. So it usually, she has ones of these crows for a lot of different holidays, and this was St. Patrick's Day, so like the clovers and everything. Mm-hmm. But I loved it just as a spring piece. I don't do anything for St. Patrick's Day. We're German, not Irish. So I changed the number up here was St. Patrick's Day, and I changed it to 21 for the year I stitched it. And it did say like MAR for March, and I changed it to an L for my initial. So this is done by me in 2021, and then
you just mimicked her font, right? Like you didn't actually have a font provided.
No, she did. There was no font provided. I think I had to look up. Like I think I found the other numbers by just like looking through her other patterns at other dates. I was like, okay, there's a 2 in here somewhere. And then just like figured out what a 1 should look like. And then the L, I had to like kind of just make up what I thought an L should look like.
That's really good.
Yeah. So
that frame does a good job for it.
Oh my gosh, this frame is like my favorite. I keep like switching back. Sorry. This frame is like one of my favorite things. I found this at. Do I have here where I found this at? Yeah, my favorite place to get frames in Morgantown, West Virginia, if you ever go. In their mall, they have a thrift shop called Retails that supports their Humane Society. And they had the best frames. I dug through and found all these awesome frames. And I love that it's deep set, that it's not flat. And I love that it's all like scuffed up.
It's textured.
Like, love it. So I'm super happy with this one. And it usually hangs right above our heads. You like can't see it. It's like hangs right above our heads until spring when I put it out. So I love it. It's my favorite. All right. My piles. I have piles everywhere, so I feel like I can't set stuff back on top of the piles.
Well, I'm going to show a finish here. Yay me. And I'm not as good as Lauren. I don't fully finish my projects. So
I have a couple that aren't done yet, so you're all right.
None of mine are fully finished. Not one. Not a single. Well, the one that's not here is fully finished. The one that I gifted. So, I don't know. I also didn't take as good of notes as Lauren. So I don't know when I finished these, but it was like summertime, June-ish. We'll go with June. I was really productive in June, so I feel like it was June. These are Love and Hearts. And oh my gosh, they are blowing out so bad. Maybe the other one will show better. No, they won't show better. Oh God, that's awful. What if I turn?
There you go. That's a little better.
The light off. God, that is terrible. I'm dealing with
the pink one again. Do the pink one again. No, there you go. There you go. There you go. That is so pretty.
It is a really pretty pattern. I'm sad that it wasn't showing up. Yeah, I'm gonna do the pink one again. So this is Love and Hearts by Cross Stitching for Fun. There
you go. There you go. You can see it. Yeah. That's so pretty.
My camera is just not doing its job today. I don't know what's going on. But
it's in a different location. It's like, I don't know what you want from me.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do things. I don't know how to camera anymore. So I stitched those. The idea is for my wedding, which will be sometime next year. I changed the dates, so I don't know exactly when it will be, but the idea is that they will be centerpieces for some of the tables. And I'm kind of like, a lot of my cross stitching right now is wedding themed. I think I have wedding and Halloween, and that's it. So.
Hey, the two biggest holidays.
Yeah, and these each used a specialty. So the fabric is just 14 count Aida, and this is just like a steely gray with a white thread. And if you watch our previous episodes where I showed these finishes, you can actually see them. The lighting here is just terrible, but this does show up.
You can see, yeah, you can see it.
But anyway, this thread that I used is a white with just a hint of pink in it. And I forget the name of it, but it was a Weeks Dye Works. I just went into Four Seasons, our local shop, and bought a few threads of Weeks Dye Works that would be wedding colors. And this one was also a specialty thread. Again, don't remember the color, didn't take as good of notes as Lauren. So something to remember for next year, better notes, Devynn. But they're really quick stitches. I have a dog hair in my mouth. I feel like I stitched them, I stitched one of them in a 2-week period, which, I mean, since most of the time I'm knitting and not stitching, I feel like that's pretty good. Like, you could probably do it in a few evenings.
Yeah, they're nice and quick.
Yeah.
And they're really great. Especially, I think the specialty threads was a good choice since it's a simple design. I mean, it's very cute, but it's a simple design, and the specialty threads just give them a little more interest.
Yeah, they're nice. And what I'm gonna do is, the reason they're not framed is I'm just going to buy a bunch of just bamboo hoops from Amazon and frame them. This one's gonna be the most difficult to frame because I miscalculated my edges. There's not enough.
You just hot glue it. You just hot glue it. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like crank it in there. So anyway, Lauren, I think you should show one.
Oh, let me see here. Keep flipping through my book.
I have one of yours.
Yeah, let's do that one next.
Okay. So this is, oh geez, it's a little dusty. Well, you won't be able to see that because you'll be lucky if you can see it. This is one Lauren stitched for Jason.
Aww. This is Who You Gonna Call, or 8-Bit Ghostbusters by the 8-Bit Geekery on Etsy. And I freaking love this. We just recently rewatched Ghostbusters for like no reason. Like, Sarah was just like in the mood for it, and I was like, hell yes, I am also in the mood for it.
That's one of our Halloween movies. We have to.
And so I started this in March of 2021. because I always do this. I'm like, oh, I need a gift for Jason for his birthday. I should stitch something. I have decided to stitch something with just enough time to do it. Like, I have decided to give myself exactly, like, no more time. So I finished it. I started it on March 15th. I finished it on April 1st. And his birthday is like April 4th, right?
Yeah, his
Something
birthday is April 4th. It is
yeah.
so cute.
I slammed through it, and I even like finished the frame on April 3rd, it says. So Sarah helped me. I cut out those shapes, and Sarah painted them. The little Ecto 1 license plate and the ghost on the top. Again, I found this frame. This frame I found at the LaVale Goodwill. And it was an ugly frame of like primitive snowmen, and I repainted it and did it all up. So I'm super happy with that. It's just on 14 count white Aida with the called for floss, and it is a fantastic design. Like, the fade in the words is just great. Yeah. And the little Slimer looking like a boo, like,
I love that.
how perfect.
Jason is also a big fan of Mario, so this the Boo Slimer thing just really appealed to him.
Yeah, it was a really good find. Like, there are not a ton of Ghostbuster stitches, but that one was a really good find, so I was pleased with that.
Toss these over there, showing off.
So another one that I have is not here, so I'm gonna put all our finishes that we just don't have here, instead of like searching through and finding the time code, where there's gonna be a parade of them at the end. So another one I finished is My Favorite Season by Allerton Embroidery. I'll have a picture of that at the end with all the details about it. I sent this one off to my friend from Texas that came to visit that thought this was a porn studio. And she loved it. It's on their wall all the time. I found out that their house is in, and I think this is so funny, Devin, because you'll live through that coffee.
Yeah.
So they decorate their house in mountain and black bears. Okay, which is like up here, that's every like kitschy vacation home is decorated like that, but down there it's like really unique and interesting, and like I'm like, you want some bear decorations?
You want a lake cabin, it's gonna be decorated in bears and maybe moose for some reason, even though we don't have moose here.
Moose. That's so weird. Yeah, it's like bears and pine trees, and that's like their decor down there, and they're like really unique and out of the box down there. And up here I'm like, do you want to go to an entire store full of that shit? That's so the like fall leaves and everything like fits right in, so
fits right into their fall bears.
So that's pretty cool. So yeah, there'll be pictures and stuff at the end. All right, last one for me, and then you can do one. So this one I actually have. This is Maryland Blackwork. Boutique. Try and get the glare to not be so bad. This is I really enjoyed this. This was my first like foray into Blackwork, and it turned out really nice. I started this in May and finished it in May. It was a very quick stitch of 2021, so that was all done. And I stitched this on 28 count linen in the color Blush. And I had to play around with the colors a little bit because in the pattern, the black work in the center is white, and it just was not showing up on this light.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I had to change it to this like steel blue color, but I think that it still goes really nicely with the gold. However, I have been debating, this has been on my wall, this goes on my wall regularly, like this doesn't change seasonally, but I have not been happy with this frame. Like, it doesn't quite fit, as you can see, like we are like right on the edge.
Edge to edge, yeah.
Yeah, it is like crammed in there. I liked the white of the frame, but I just didn't like how it sat and everything. This was just a frame that we had.
You can paint a frame white.
Yeah. But Sarah bought some frames for some posters the other day, and she got a 2-pack of these at Michael's. And it's just a gold frame.
Oh,
and
the
it's
gold will look nice.
It's the exact right color. Like, I totally think it'll be fine. And it's just that hint bigger on the sides. So I think that will be much better. It'll fit in the frame better. So I'm going to change it out. I mean, this is just it's a cheap frame from Michael. Like, it is flimsy, but all it has to do is sit on my wall. It never moves. So
yeah.
That one.
Not every frame has to be a perfect vintage find.
Exactly. Like, I just want it up on the wall. So I'm super happy with that. Look, it also layers way less, probably because it's plastic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be changing that out. But I did love the pattern. It was super fun. Like I said, very quick to stitch. We're a Maryland household. All the fun things about Maryland. So
Maryland. Yeah. Oh, right. Well, I have one. You want me to go now?
Yeah, go. Do it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, this is another wedding stitch that I finished this year. This one took much longer than the others and had a lot more going on. This is Wreath Cross Stitch by the Perfect Decor Store.
Yeah, it sounds pretty.
Camera's not focusing, and I don't know why, but problems for another day.
That's really pretty done.
It is.
I love those flowers.
Oh, it's focusing back here. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks really good right there.
Yeah, that's really great.
I loved stitching this. The flowers, this is my jam. Like, this is like, if I have a decor style, it's this wildflower. This has all my colors in it, like pinks and blues. I mean, every color. Is that my decor? Every color. Like,
yeah, well, that's it. It's very colorful.
Pinks and blues and pops of yellow. So I love stitching this. It was not a quick stitch. It was easy, but it was not quick. It's just on 14 count white Aida, and I just used DMC thread. It will also be finished in a hoop. I think that one needs an 8-inch hoop, I'm pretty sure. 10 was too big. And there's, look, I did the thing where there's like,
there's edges.
Kind of edging. It's definitely not as much edge work as Lauren leaves, but this is enough to frame.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I'm like too generous on my edges. Like, I'm always chopping stuff off when I go to frame, so.
All right, Lauren.
Another one?
Yeah. How many more you got?
I don't know. Let me look. 1. That one's not done yet. I think I got 4.
Okay. We have 13 minutes left on this record.
Okay. Well, 2 of them I think are not here.
Okay. We should be able to get, I have 1 left, and then we have the pictures. I have 1 picture to talk about.
Okay. So I think we can do it. All right. So my next one in my book is this one that is not fully finished. This is Spell of the Moon by Blackbird.
I love this one.
Yeah, this one's really cute. So that just turned out fantastic. This one I started in June of 2021 and finished in June of 2021. It was a super quick, fun little stitch. Perfect for my Halloween cross stitch challenge. It's got this cute little owl.
That one stitched up really fast for you. I remember it was just like bam, bam, done.
Yeah, it was like I had it done. I think I might have even, like, on a podcast episode said, like, this is my next start, and on the next one been like, this is finished.
Yeah,
like,
it was
this is on 28 count Lugana by Picture This Plus in the color Sandcastle. And I think we're gonna do like Christmas acquisitions in our goals episode. And I love going to shops and just buying their remnants. Like I go through their remnants, and that's what this was. This was just a piece of like remnant. It was like this big. Look how perfect that was. And I I personally put all these splatters and effects on there using coffee and tea. And I went into the whole detailed process of how I did it in our episode, but it was so fun, and I am in love with how it turned out.
I think it looks very nice. Yeah.
It looks great. I'm going to finish this as a pillow, I think, like a little mini small. So yeah, so that is one that I have. That was probably one of my favorites to do this year, just because I did interesting things with the fabric.
Yeah.
Another one I have that I don't have here is the I Love Coffee Mill Hill kit. I showed it in our last episode. I did it for our Secret Santa at work. She loved it, by the way. I finally revealed that I was Secret Santa, and she was like, so like I told you, like my goal is to make everybody jealous that they weren't
more secret.
I think I achieved that, because everybody in the office, like she's in like a communal office, and every time she'd get another gift, they would be like, oh, another one? What is it? Oh, like, who is, this is so great. Like, and so people were.
That's really cute.
Yeah. So that was really great. So there'll be a picture of that at the end as well. And so I was pleased with that. My next one is this little one here. Oh, Sarah tied this bow to it. Not sure how I feel about this bow, but we'll leave it on there for now. So this is,
excuse me,
giant gold bow on the top. You gonna live, girl?
I'm good. The bronchitis is getting me.
Oh God. Please don't die on podcast.
Sorry. I'm good.
You good? Being sick sucks so much. I feel so bad for you. Like,
I'm good. I can breathe now.
sometimes you just gotta cough until you can breathe again, right?
You gotta clear the airways.
This is Esoteric Mushrooms by V Stitchcraft. I found her on Instagram. She has a blog with lots of, I think she only has 3 patterns up, but they're all free.
Excuse me.
And you're fine. I did this on 14 count. I believe the color's called Cameo Peach Ada, and with the called for threads. I stitched this. I started it in November and finished it in November. Like, no. I stitched this over 4 days and got it completely finished in hoop in 4 days.
Yeah, it was very fast.
It was very fast. Super cute. Love it. Like, great
I haven't been able to speak this whole time, but I loved that one. Super cute.
You've been too busy trying to survive.
Oh, my eyes are watering from that one.
All right, and my last one. This one I saved for last because it's kind of. So I've talked about this a couple times.
The big reveal.
It's the big reveal. I finished the haunted house in October of 2021. This is Haunted Mansion by Tiny Modernist. I stitched it on 28 count Lugana in Haunted by Picture This Plus, with all the called for threads except one little tiny conversion. This is the last of the giant projects that I started back in 2018. So I had started it, screwed up really, really badly, and needed to restart it. And finally did, with the help of Anna from Anna. Anna Stitches Autumn is her username on Facebook and Instagram. She is the head of the 21 Project Facebook group. And she is just the best, truly the best. And she like was like, we're gonna do it as a Sal. And I'm like, I'm on it. And then I immediately started to fall behind because it's such a big stitch and I wish I had more time, but so I finally fully finished it. And this is it, completely done. Let me get it right back here so you can see.
That is amazing.
This is awesome. This is awesome. So let me get over here so you can see my little RIP on my awesome headstone. So
that took some work.
It did take some work. So this headstone, this wooden headstone, came from How To Holidays on Etsy. And they sell like for lawn decoration. So you can put like gravestones all through your lawn. And I saw them and was immediately like, that is what I've been looking for. That is what I want this mounted on. And so I had to contact them and get one that was a little bigger because theirs are like more petite. And they were like, totally, we can absolutely make you a custom order, like fantastic. And it was not that expensive. Like I think it was $15 for it.
That's
shipped
amazing.
Almost as much. And it is like super sturdy. It's made out of reclaimed lumber, and it is super like textured and scratchy. There's screw holes, there's nail holes, there's let me show the back here because this is the back here. It's like weathered paint on the wood. Like this is just everything I wanted from this. So they had several different shapes as well. I like the little carve outs.
Yeah, it looks very headstone-y.
Yeah, and then I finished it following the Real Housewives of Stitching, Patricia's tutorial on how to finish thing on sticky board. So I wanted the cross stitch itself to be a different shape. I didn't want it to be square or anything, so I made it a rounded headstone. Backed it with this really cool fabric from
So that's
Joanne.
actually on sticky board?
The fabric is just over like cardboard, but the haunted house is on sticky board. You can kind of see that it's a little thicker.
I am impressed, Lauren. I didn't realize you actually put it on sticky board. That's commitment.
I was scared. Like, and like in some places I cut near the top just a little too close. So it's not the cleanest.
Put it together.
Yes, exactly. And it is not going anywhere. I'm not going to redo this some way different. I wish I had tried, like learned how to do it on a different piece than my precious baby that I love, but it turned out so perfect. I don't care.
The imperfections are only something you can see because to me it looks perfect.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It looks fantastic. And then I used stencils that I just bought from Michael's to put the words on the top. I originally wanted it to say sacred. I originally wanted to say sacred because that is like RIP is kind of, I guess, more of a European thing, and sacred is something that they did in tombstones like in the 1700s here in America, but it was just too big. I couldn't fit it. But yeah. RIP works so perfectly with my little RIPs down here.
That looks great.
It's done. It's done.
Amazing. Well, we have 4 minutes to spare on this record. Sorry, I'm timing us because Zoom is silly and limits us to 1 hour per record. So,
well, what was your last one? Get it in there quick.
I have 2 real quick. So, the one I have with me to show off, you guys have all seen recently if you're watching us regularly. This is Sweet Life by Punatika. And it is so cute with all the little bonbons. And the word Sweet Life does show up. My lighting sucks in here, but you can see it in person because the words are right here. And I don't know if holding it closer, pulling it back maybe. Nothing is going to help, but it's there. It does.
It is there.
Sweet Life. It's in a soft pink. It does not strike very well against the fabric, but it's there. And I can see it in person and I love it. This is one of my favorite stitches that I did this year. It's got beading, and I love doing all the beading with it. And I love the little bonbons. They're so freaking cute. And the colors in this are just such my jam.
Bonbons is so perfect because it's so chocolatey and lovely.
Oh, it's cute. Chocolate is me. With 2 minutes to spare, I will just throw in here real quick that the biggest project that I finished this year was my Nightmare Before Christmas by Happy Little Mouse, which I very quickly after stitching it gifted it to Lizzie, and it is at her house hanging on her wall. So I did not have it here to show you guys. Picture will be at the end.
Yeah, I'll put the picture in and it'll be with all the details. Perfect.
I think it's amazing after watching this with you, Lauren, like how many things we have finished this year. Like,
yeah, we did good
about it, and I feel pitiful about my 4 little things that I had to show off. But I know, like, man, if we could just count every single little guy from the witchy stitcher, I'm like,
yeah,
a lot.
Yeah, I totally like. I'm considering myself done with the 21 projects because between the witchy stitcher one and like the individual rooms in the house and everything, like I did it. Like we did so much this year.
We did do a lot. It's amazing. I'm proud of us. And this is our second Christmas as podcasters. So like,
yeah,
we're like really doing this. We're like the real deal now. And we have 82 subscribers. Hi guys, thanks for joining us. Like, we really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, it has been so fun talking to people and talking to other floss tubers and just being more part of this community. This has been a really great year, and I don't know what we're gonna do. I think we might have to do something when we hit 100, but I'm also not gonna push for it. Like I feel like we have just been like growing organically, and people that find us really enjoy us, and we enjoy talking to you guys.
We did do that giveaway once, and it was fun to do. But I think that you know, we did the giveaway for 50, so we don't need to do the race for 100. You know, we'll just be casual reaching 100 subscribers or something. And when we reach 100, is that like real YouTubers or is it 1,000?
It's 1,000, I think.
Darn it. Okay.
Yeah, they really gatekeep that. All right, guys. Well, that is all our finishes for the year of 2021 in cross stitch, and we're also going to do probably after Zoom breaks us here in a second. We're going to do our finishes for crochet and knitting, and so we'll be back in just a couple seconds.
Woohoo!
We're back!
We are back. Welcome to Stitches and Sundries fiber episode number 32.
The fiber side of the finishes.
Yes, this is our year-end wrap-up where we are going to show you everything we finished for 2021. My name is Devyn.
I'm Lauren.
I can be found on Instagram as Devyn_no_loose_ends.
Devyn, this is all going to be one episode. We already said this.
Oh, I forgot this wasn't separate. I forgot.
That's okay.
Oops. I thought I had to do a whole intro. Oh.
We're good. We're safe. We did it.
Misunderstanding.
I think because we always do it separate, and then this time we're like, no, we'll do one finishes episode and one goals episode.
Yeah.
Kind of like, we've lost our minds.
You know, I'm sick. I have no idea what.
Yeah, why would we can't expect memories or thoughts. Oh, you poor thing. I feel so bad that you feel so bad.
It is what it is. Okay, moving on from that embarrassment.
No.
So, this is the fiber side of our year-end wrap-up. Woo woo!
I have all this dancing room now.
You do have a lot of arm room. I do too. I'm like,
I love your craft room, by the way. We all get to see a peek into your craft room.
Yes, it is coming along. I still have some stuff I want to put on the walls, and this is my slanty wall, which you can't see. You can kind of see. I have a string of hearts. You can see in the upper right corner.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually swooping down from the slant of the ceiling. So it's not against the wall, it's hanging.
Very cool.
But this is a vintage Japanese serving tray that was my grandmother's. This came from Goodwill and has all my swatches on it. And this is my yarn.
That is awesome. It's so cute and cozy.
It is cute and cozy, and I love it. Still don't have furniture up here for me to regularly sit in. This is a camp chair. So I need like a comfy chair out here, but
yeah.
That's fine. But I have some finishes to like parade around.
I have a few, but not nearly as many as you. Like if our fiber side was like, Lauren, run through, this is gonna be.
Yeah. I'm trying to get it all together here so I can show you guys.
Oh my God.
This is my fat stack of hats.
That is a very fat stack.
It's a honk. And one headband. So I'll get started with some finishes here.
Yeah, do it.
I'm gonna show a few together because they were all kind of the same. So I didn't take notes like you did where like what time of year I finished anything. I just put all my finishes in a list. So starting with my fat stack of hats, here are 4 variations of the pattern Road Tripping by Christina Lundberg. It's a fingering weight held with mohair hat pattern.
That's so cute.
I knit several of them, and a few I modified a little bit. Kind of like did my own thing. I'm not really sure how I modified them now, but if you watch our past episodes, I talked about it in there. I know on this one, it's very obvious that I added this like purl bump between the ribbing and the knitting, which you should be able to see there, this little bump line.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's like a cleaner definition between the two. And that's just because there's a nice color change there, and I like a purl bump on a color change because it's cool. So this is another one, same pattern. I think I made this one a little longer, and I added some extra increases up here to fit a bigger head.
A big old fat head.
Yeah, that's Jason's hat. This one is really cute. This one's a little tight on me, but it'll be great for a kid's head. And then this one. And all of this was knit with
beautiful colors.
It is beautiful colors. All of this was knit with scrap yarns or 20-gram mini skeins with a mohair held together. So this was left over from a project. The rest of these, well, these 2 blue ones were mini skeins, and then this one was a scrap yarn from a project. So those were some of my hats. I know I knit them in June, and I was trying to work on building up a stash of Christmas gift supply. So Jason's hat aside, the 3 of those are giftables.
Nice. I still think that is such a good idea. Like, I think you've really like hit on a really great idea for somebody that wants to give handmade items. Like, you know, that's your gift. That's the thing you like to do. To just start and be like, I feel like a hat, into the pile.
That's the thing is like, I don't really want to knit. I hate it when someone says, can you knit me this specific thing? And it's a person that I'm not like super close to, because then I feel like, I don't really want to knit you this specific thing, but do you want a hat I knit? Here's a hat or something. Like, you know, like close friends, I don't mind knitting very specific things for, but I get asked, like I have a cousin who I never talked to who asked me for a knit hat, and I'm like, yeah, sure, she's getting one of these. Like, yeah. I'm not knitting her a specific hat. She can look at my hat stash and she can grab a hat.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
Setting boundaries is important.
Very much so. Very much so.
So do you want me to show another hat, or do you want to show a thing, or you want me to do 2 to your 1?
Yeah, do 2 to my 1.
Okay. So
At
this
least.
is another pair of finishes, the same pattern. Oh, I should say the road tripping hat was a free pattern, and a lot of the patterns that I knit this year for hat wise are free. I was really looking for some good staple hat patterns to kind of be enjoyable, repeatable knits, and I found a few. So this is one of my favorites to repeat. This is Bankhead, and this is by Susie Gourlay or Gourlay. I'm not quite sure how to say it. A lot of people knit this hat. And this one in particular is the adult medium, so it's kind of smaller. And then this one was the extra large, which is perfect for Jason's noggin. This one is really, really warm. This one's knit with woolen spun Brooklyn tweed shelter yarn, which is the same thing I knit a sweater in. My first sweater ever was knit out of this yarn, and this was just left over from the sweater, so I made him a hat. And then this one is Loop Fiber Studio, not Loft, Loop Fiber Studio. She does these yin yang colorways, and so one of these colors is Once, and the other one is called For All, and she kind of does this pairing where one's predominantly black with a little blue, and one's predominantly blue with a little black. And she has a lot of yarn like that, and it's really cool.
That is really cool.
So that's Bankhead hat has become one I knit over and over again. Oh wait, I have enough for Bankhead hat that is missing. It's not here. Too bad. I have another one that I knit out of Lion Brand Heartland yarn. Someone wanted machine washables, so I really love Lion Brand Heartland yarn for a good staple machine washable acrylic yarn. So I did knit that. But I had a lot of fun knitting hats. I really struggled with sizing earlier this year, so this was fun to kind of get some sizing. Yeah,
absolutely. Get that like repetitive test of like, can I consistently make these the way I want them to be done?
Yeah, I kind of went on like a hat exploration venture.
Well, 2021, the year of the hat.
The year of the hat, yes. It's crazy. All right, you go. What you got?
Me do one?
You do one.
I'll do this one because it's big and it's set in here. It's the first one in my book. That's how I've been going. It's book order. So this.
I forgot about that.
I know, right? From earlier this year. So like, this was my very first finish in 2021. So I started it in August of 2020. I finished it in January of 2020. So that's why I haven't seen this in a really long time. This is a doily pattern called Tulips by Tamara Gonza. It's very pretty. And I found this one on Ravelry. And I use size 30 crochet thread that I found at a flea market, and I loved it.
The best.
It is a free pattern with look at all the detail in there. Like the detail is just crazy. Like I've got all these. I'm using it to display my grandmother's brooch collection, so that's why I've got all these pins on it. But like, I'm trying to see here. Can you see the tulip right there? Like it's so pretty. It is the prettiest thing.
And that's a really unique idea. I know like right now it's really popular when you buy certain things online. I get like pin buttons or enamel pins or stuff like that. And so it'll be great to have something like that to stick those sorts of things on.
To display them. I finished this in a hoop. This was my grandmother's quilting hoop. So it fit perfectly. I even like how it kind of sticks out and has this lacy edge. And I, to completely keep it stiff and looking the way I wanted, I soaked it in a starch solution before blocking it. And then I blocked it wet in the hoop so that it would be exactly the way I wanted it. And it's like just stiff enough. It's not hard, but it has just a stiffened thing. So like the points stick out the edges. It's just perfect.
It's nice that they don't like flop around. That is very nice.
I will be doing another one of these because my aunt saw it at a family gathering, and her mother-in-law gifted her a bunch of these. And so she has basically her husband's mom's and grandma's collection as well. And she thought that was such a beautiful way to display it. So I will be doing another one of these next year. Yeah, so beautiful. I love this.
That's really cool.
Also, if you're looking to do something like this is I would call this probably an 8 out of 10 on the complex doily scale. This was a fantastic pattern. She literally put pictures at every step of the way, super detailed. For a free pattern, I was shocked at how good it was. It was fantastic.
That's awesome. All right, more of the hat parade.
Yay, hats!
So if you've been watching us for a while, you've seen this hat recently. This is the Skyping Beanie. This one is knit out of DK weight yarn. And I really love the way this pattern looks. It's got a nice texture. This was another giftable knit. I just was like, what else could I knit with this? I had a single skein of DK, and I don't really knit DK shawls. So I was like, hat. Here's the hat. And this Skyping Beanie is one that I will repeat. I'm pretty sure this one didn't have multiple sizes. Like it doesn't go like one of the things that's great about the bank head pattern is it's got a variety of sizes from like kid to adult large. This one had 2 versions where you could knit the DK or an Aran weight version, which might give you some sizing options, but it's not sized for like toddlers or anything. So, but it's a good hat for an adult. And I enjoyed knitting that, and it's knit out of Knit Circus in the color Kraken, Release the Kraken. It's Knit Circus yarn, and it was from a yarn club that Jason bought me for Christmas last year. So I got to use some of the yarn from that. Yay! More hats.
I love that green.
More
hats.
More hats. I also just showed this one on our last episode.
Love.
Huh?
I love this one.
Yeah, I love this one. The color is really good. This one is Warm the Line, and this is a slouchy, and I can actually like put this on, and you should be able to see like it's got a good slouch back here.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. It is Warm the Line Beanie by Romy Hill, and this was actually a pattern she came out with during the 2020 election, like to warm the line of voters.
That is really
cool.
So
it was a really cool pattern that she came out with, and it was free because of that reason. So it's really cool, and I enjoyed knitting that a lot. I will say this pattern, because I knit the super slouch, it used up almost all of the yarn. So I had very little left over, whereas from this hat, the Skyping Beanie, also DK weight, I used not all the yarn. I'm pretty sure I have enough left for another hat.
Wow.
So with that slouch, you kind of go the extra mile.
I love that though.
I have 2 more hats. You want me to show those?
Keep going.
Okay. So I will show this one next. Also featured on our last episode. And Lauren, I'm moving all of my ends. Aren't you proud of me?
I am proud of you. I have a project that doesn't have ends woven in yet. So I mean,
I have one that doesn't have its ends woven in, but I wove in all the ends on all these hats because I'm like, I'm gifting these for Christmas. I should probably do that.
before it's time to gift, yeah.
Yes. So this is the citrus hat, citrus beanie. This is by Laura Treadway. It was another free pattern. And it just kind of like, it's similar to Bankhead, but in that it's kind of a wider ribbed hat, but it's not the same. They do have differences. And I do like how this one kind of like it blends really well into the ribbing.
I love that ribbing. That is really cool.
It is really nice. And almost all of my hats I am knitting now with a cable cast on. I know I've talked about this a lot, but I really feel like it's important because people do not talk about what cast on they use for a hat. And I had the problem where every pattern said, choose a stretchy cast on. I'm a loose knitter, and I kind of figured that out this year that I am apparently a very loose knitter. So knitting a stretchy cast on for a ribbed hat was really making my hats very loose, and they would kind of like move around on your head. And now that I use the tighter cast on, because a cable cast on does not have the give and stretch that some of the other more common hat pattern. I know German twisted cast on is stretchy, and then there's a bunch of other stretchy cast ons, but those were, my ribbing was almost, what was happening was in a pattern it would like flare out.
Yeah, it was so loose it started to like plate.
And I would size down, because normally you size down on ribbing in most patterns, and I would size down and it was still happening and I was really struggling. The cast on, changing the cast on made the difference for me. So I think it's important to share that.
Yeah, that's a great
public
tip.
Service announcement. Try new cast ons. One more hat. This is the last hat that I have, and then I have one headband. This is I think I showed this as a whip, so it's a new finish to the podcast.
Oh, I love this.
So this is, what one is this? Oh, I didn't write it down. Shoot. I will have to link it below because I didn't even write it in my book. I think it's called Kaime. It is it was a free pattern, and it's got this random speckled color work pattern going on in it. It's worsted weight yarn.
Wow.
Huh?
I said, wow, like you don't work in worsted weight very often.
Well, the Bankhead hat is always worsted weight. I don't think I mentioned that, but for hats, I really do like worsted weight. That's what makes them so quick, is worsted weight hats are great. The road tripping hats, they are fingering weight, but when you hold them with mohair, they work up like a DK weight because it's like making it thicker. I have not knit a fingering weight hat. I did knit a fingering weight headband, and do not recommend at all. But this hat in particular, I loved so much. The colorwork chart, I messed up, and I don't think you can tell. I just don't think that, like, no. It is meant to look scattered, so it doesn't matter that I messed up. For your viewing pleasure, I'll show you my floats. I am not a good float catcher. There's only a few places where you have to catch floats. Most of them are kind of like, they're not going to snag, but there's a few that are like, that's a little loose. But I don't think I'm worrying about that at all. This hat is for Jason, and I actually knit this to be a West Virginia WVU hat for him. I'm going to get one of those, not iron on, I want to sew on patch that just is the WVU symbol for the football team, because he's a real big football fan. And so I'm just going to put it on this ribbing. I actually saw a hat like this in a store that I wanted to get him, and I was like, I think I can knit that. So I did. I found it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I just need to get the patch. I should have bought it when I saw it at the store, but I did not. So now I need to go find one. But that's all my hats. And like, look at this. This is a fat stack of hats.
That is such a stack of hats. Like, that is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, really, I have 3 other finishes. The rest, that's all hats, or 4 other finishes, because it's a headband.
Damn, girl.
It was all hats this year. Yeah.
You want me to do one?
Yes, you should go. I do have several of the Bankheads that I knit this year that I gave away, so they're not pictured. But since I had a few to show, I thought that was fun.
Yeah. That's yeah, you gave away a lot of hats this year. Hang on, I got in the top. Oh, hang on. I have to find the top. I just threw it on the couch. Do, do, do.
I love
Yes.
that.
Meow. Meow, meow. This is, I should have worn it. This is the Inmost Cardigan by 11 Handmade. It is beautiful. Let me get up here so you can see these beautiful.
It's got a lot of detail with the stitching.
Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so, I mean, buttery, soft, just lovely. I started this in October of 2020, I think, something around that time, fall, and finished it in February of 2021. I saw her on Instagram. This kind of like, I'm trying to see if I can get it back here. It's kind of like braided puff stitch is kind of a signature of hers, and I saw it and I wanted to do it. But I didn't want to do something that needed to be fitted. So the cardigan is like meant to be oversized and slouchy and awesome.
Yeah, because she has it in a sweater pattern too.
Yeah, she has it in a sweater pattern as well, pullover sweater.
I think she has it in a t-shirt or something too. She has.
Yeah, that pattern is like I said, like kind of like her signature. So she has it in a couple different like cuts and varieties that you can.
Yeah.
I did this in Ella Ray Cozy Alpaca Chunky, in the color 540. No name, just number. And if you can see how beautiful and silky it is, I've loved it. It is so warm, despite being very loosely put together and lots of holes and stuff. It's very warm. This was my first crochet garment, and I am so pleased. And I wear it.
So proud.
I am proud. I am proud. I don't get to wear it very often because it's so slouchy and it can snag on stuff. But I wear it when I am like settling in for a day and like going to be like basically in my chair being a potato, and it just makes my potato life so much better.
That looks like a good potato wear. Yeah. I love it.
I wish I could take it to work because our work office is so fucking cold. And I don't want to be cold. And this is so nice and cozy. But I had like a over the shoulder, kind of like a capelet, like basically like a mini blanket.
I know what you're talking about. I have one of those. And
I would like when I have to go to a meeting or something, I'd throw it over the back of my chair and it would immediately get run over by the wheels, like immediately. And so I'm like, I can't do that to this. It cannot go to the office and get run over by the wheels.
Yeah, the wheels are deadly. I've ruined a dress that way, and I've ruined a blanket that way.
Yeah, the wheels are deadly. So Devynn knows because she sits here normally with me. Right across from where our camera is a closet that we keep our like our patio furniture, pillows and crap in. And my cat Dusty likes to go in there and sleep. And so as you were talking, a little head poked up over some pillows, looked around, and was like, back down into the pillows.
That's adorable.
She's being very cute.
All right, I have a headband that I finished. This headband was a labor of love.
Love or hate?
I love the finished object. I am debating on whether I can finish another hat for Christmas so that I can keep this and not feel like it needs to be in my basket to give away, because I do love this and I know I'm probably not going to knit another one.
Yeah, you can bang out another hat.
And I don't mind knitting hats. I actually have I have yarns picked out for at least 2 or 3 more hats. But this headband is the Frida Headband, and I'm going to butcher the designer's name because that's what I do. I believe it's Emily Lewis, but that is probably wrong. I think she is maybe French. I'm not sure, but I don't think I'm saying the name right at all. But everything we're talking about is going to be linked below. This is going to be an episode with hella show notes, that's for sure.
Yeah, I do not envy you.
Yeah, but this headband is so cozy. You use fingering weight and mohair held together. I believe it was a free pattern. I'm not 100% sure. I started this as something that would be easy to take to Stitch and Bitches and stuff, but then 2020 happened and we stopped having Stitch and Bitches. So I also put this aside. And then I saw that I really only needed to do like 2 more inches on it. And I'm like, why don't you finish that, Devynn? You just need to finish that. So I got it out and I finished it. And here it is. It is super cozy. I wear it like this. I do pull my hair out of it sometimes. I'm not going to do that right now, but it over the ears, it is so warm and snuggly.
Yes.
But it is knit in double stockinette or something like that. The stitch pattern is really cool. It's very thick and squishy.
Yes, it is very cool. I think our friend Ruth is like been inspired and is knitting one, or has knitted one of those because they're so cute.
They are really cute, but I did not enjoy. I would rather just knit one out of DK weight yarn because I can't. Because they get the same gauge.
Yeah.
As fingering weight held with mohair, but fingering weight held with mohair just felt like it was taking forever.
Yeah. Building. Hey, as a person who is trying to do a fingering weight pullover, building length of fingering weight takes a million years. Yeah. What else you got?
Okay, so I have a cowl that I finished. I also showed this recently. This is super beautiful.
I love that so much.
This is Love is Love, actually, by Kim Firth. And when you look up this pattern, you're going to be like, Devynn, that was supposed to be a hat. And I'll sit here and tell you, yeah, you're right, it was. It was supposed to be a hat. I knit this as a hat, and when I hold it up, you can kind of see that, like, here towards the bottom, it goes in a little. It's kind of like it's wider at the top than it is the bottom. That's because there are increases in the bottom because it was knit like it was supposed to be a hat, where this ribbon was supposed to be a little skinnier. There's some increases here. But as I knit and knit and knit and knit this whole color work chart, mind you, I realized I'm a fool. And I did not get gauge, and it was going to be way too big. And so I decided to turn it into a cowl, and I think it came out great. This is probably the softest, most butteriest, most perfection.
It's so beautiful.
That I have knit. This was knit out of Direful Yarns, is the red, in the color Vamp, and it was a merino cashmere nylon base. And then the light pink is Avalon Springs Farm yarn in the color My Love Rose. And I love it. It is so dreamy. Oh, and I'll show you my floats because I got no shames. I know people make, it's so floppy. It's so floppy. People make a big deal out of floats, and I'm just like, they are what they are.
I gotta get close. No, those look fine.
There's a little bit where it's kind of sloppy, but they're fine. And this thing, like I said, it is so soft and buttery. It is just perfect.
I love that one. I'm so glad you figured out a way to finish it and like enjoy it.
Me too. I loved the chart, and I want to try the hat again. Not now. That's a later project, but I do want to try it again.
Now that you're master of hats, you want to be another.
Colorwork hats are another beast. Colorwork in general is another beast.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
I think I did a poor job of talking about all the yarn that I used in my hats. I did want to mention this one is worsted weight, and it's just a worsted weight blue wool yarn that I had in stash. And then the white was actually a worsted weight Cascade 220. So the white is superwash, but the blue is not. I just used what I had in stash to make a worsted weight hat. But I just wanted to mention that because like I learned kind of from Stephen West to not be afraid to mix fibers. Like some people are like, oh, that's superwash and non-superwash together. You can't do that. Well, no, you totally can. And like this is merino cashmere nylon in the dark red, and then the pink is not. It's just 100% merino. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, why worry about that?
I don't know. Some people are like afraid to mix bases, and I'm just like, whatever.
If it looks good, looks good. I'm glad I'm not the only person keeping Cascade in business too. So.
Yeah, and like I said, I've knit with line brands too, so like I do use a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
It just depends on who it's for. Like if it's for me, I want a fancier fiber because I'm gonna put the time in. I want fancy stuff, and I know I'll take the time to hand wash it. But if it's for someone who's not going to hand wash it, I'll use whatever's necessary to make them happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, I got more. What you got?
You want me to do one?
Yeah. I gotta sneeze.
There it is. So next up in my book, talking about color work. This was my first color work and my first attempt at this kind of project. This is the Cross Stitch Project Bag by 3 Plus Crochet. And yeah, so this is, I started this in April and finished it in May, so very quick project. She has this awesome pattern to basically crochet your zipper in. Like no sewing, just crochet. And I really wanted to try it, and I also need project bags, 100 project bags at a time. So yeah, so I did that, and then I also like, I believe the one on her website is just stripes, and I was like, oh, you know what? This also seems, I'm doing a big square. This also seems like a perfect time to try color work. So this is the pattern Rosa. Oh shoot, I didn't put in my book. Man, I've slacked on that. This is a pattern Rosa by somebody on Ravelry. We will link it below.
You know, I didn't have that in my book either because I wrote it down.
Yeah, and it turned out really cute. I needed one that was reversible because you work from the bottom up, or no, from the top down. You work from the top down, and then you work basically from the bottom up to get the other side because you just fold in half. So this has to be a reversible pattern.
Yeah.
And it turned out really cute and really good. Like I think this is called intarsia crochet when you're doing this kind of color work where it's like, and I really enjoyed it. I think the results are actually pretty good too. I just did this in, because this was 1, just a project bag for me, 2, testing if I could even do this. This is done in Caron Simply Soft in the colors black and pagoda.
It looks fabulous.
And since we're kind of showing off our floats, I'll throw mine over here. Here's my floats.
Floats.
There's a couple long ones in here, but not too bad. I tried to tag them down where I could. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that project. Anything where you're like not doing, like I get bored easily. I have no not my ADD kicks in. So anything where I'm like following like not a repetitive pattern, I'm like, ooh, something different. Oh, I got a plan for that. Ooh, I gotta do something different. I'm happy. So
that's so funny because I'm almost the opposite with like, give me garter stitch any day. It's the same thing over and over again, and I will knit it forever and ever and ever, or stockinette in the round, and I'll knit it forever and ever and ever because I can just go and I don't have to think. So then my brain is free to like listen to an audiobook or like talk to people or whatever. So
yeah,
I like my thinking.
I do all that stuff too, which is probably why I make so many mistakes.
I need focus for the harder stuff. So I have 3 shawls that I finished. I think this is the second one that I finished this year. The first one I don't have here. Pictured at the end will be Birds of a Feather by Andrea Mowry. It was a gorgeous fingering weight and mohair shawl that I knit out of some really fancy, I actually have, or thought I had, never mind. Thought I had it close by. Oh, it's right here. The yarn that I used in it, that was very beautiful, was this green mohair with sparkles. That shawl will be just pictured at the end. It was gorgeous. It took 6 months of knitting, basically. It was forever. It was the longest thing one of the shawls that took the longest, but it had like 1,400 yards of fingering weight yarn in it.
Damn.
Yeah, insane. But then what I do have with me is, this is Ruth, and this is a fingering weight shawl. This is a single skein of fingering weight shawl yarn. And this pattern was by Christina from Morning Dew Studio. She has a website, which will be linked below, where she has her patterns. She also has them, I believe, posted on Ravelry. This shawl is absolutely beautiful. It is in stockinette with a feather and fan lace repeat.
That is so beautiful.
It is such a pretty shawl. And the yarn is Pandius Jewels in the color London Fog, which I absolutely love this color. It is very soft. This was one of my first test knits. I think it's the second test knit that I ever did. It was my first shawl that I test knit. I really, really enjoyed the test knit. She taught me a little bit more about weighing my yarn and kind of figuring out how much yarn I'm using throughout a project. Which I'm trying to apply more regularly to other projects. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, absolutely love it.
That's so pretty.
So just leave this one back here.
So beautiful.
I have 1 more with me, or 2 more with me.
I have 2 more as well.
Okay, why don't you go? We'll do one.
All right. So next one is one you guys have seen pretty recently. Bum, bum, bum. I don't like stuff nicely folded. I need to keep my stuff more nicely folded. So this is the one that I haven't woven in ends yet. I still have lots of ends. This is Gift for Devynn. And I think this is so pretty. Like, it's just the way it hangs. It's so loose.
Such good drapey.
This is Nom de la Rose by an unknown person. And talking about how good the pattern was for the tulips, this was a pattern I paid for and was not good. Like, so this was just a scan from a magazine. This was a scan from a magazine, just the chart. And I mean, it turned out beautiful. It's a beautiful pattern. As you can see, let's see if I can where's the freaking board? Here, I will use the board of magic. Put this up here. Can you see that rose there?
That's beautiful. That is so pretty.
I did this for you. Originally, it was supposed to be just like a doily in the middle of a table, but because the pattern had no size, gauge, yardage, literally anything with it, I was just like, oh, I want it to be a little bigger. I will do it out of fingering weight yarn. It is now big enough to be a circle shawl, or cover an entire table.
Whatever.
If you had like a 2 to 3 foot like table, like display table or something, or like where people sign cards, this could entirely cover it. Like,
yeah.
I love it though. It's beautiful. I did this out of LaRue cotton. She's LaRue Crochet, I think, on Etsy, in the colorway TOI 1338B. I think it should be called something like Water Lily or something beautiful like that, because
It's so pretty.
look how beautiful those colors are. That is just so lovely.
Pinks and purples and blues, my jam.
Yep, all the jams. I started this in May and finished it in October. Wow. I just need to keep it ends and it'll be completely finished. Yeah, so I love it. It's beautiful. I can't wait to give it to you as a gift.
Okay. We have 7 minutes left on this record.
Oh, we might have to cut in the middle somewhere.
Well, I think I just won't. I have dishcloths. Who needs to see dishcloths? I knit traditional dishcloths. There's not much to say. Here, see these dishcloths? I knit these. There's really not much to say.
You did it.
Traditional dishcloths by Stacy Perry. I think she's Very Pink Knits. I think that's her name. Yeah, there's not much to say. I just knit them for gifts. And then the big thing, the big finish.
The big guy. Oh my gosh, so beautiful.
This is the Doodler by Stephen West, and this shawl is absolutely gorgeous, totally amazing. Still haven't woven in my ends because I'm just not that person right now. And I love everything about this. And you can watch any of our most recent episodes right now to find out all the information about this shawl.
Yes. Yeah. Is that your latest big finish?
It is my latest big finish. I have finished hats since I've worked on this shawl, but this is the big finish. Wow. If my yarn ever comes from knit picks that I ordered, I do have another shawl I'm about to finish. So I might have another finish for the year 2021 if yarn arrives.
If yarn arrives, that would be awesome.
It's supposed to be here on December 16th, or Tuesday, the 21st. It was supposed to be here Saturday. Now it's up to Tuesday. I got lost in New Jersey.
Yeah,
but
lost in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Easy to do.
You guys, I just don't think there's much to say new on this shawl. So if you've been watching us, everything that is about this shawl is in literally the last 2 or 3 episodes. We've gushed and gushed over this.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
It is gorgeous, but it is the Doodler by Stephen West. So Lauren, what you got?
My last one, I got a little off in my book apparently. My last one I have here is the Sum of Its Parts pullover. This is by I Need It Crochet on Instagram and Ravelry. She does lots of fantastic beginner-friendly garments, lots of size-inclusive garments. She is just fantastic. Go make anything of hers. Every time she posts something on Instagram, I'm like, I just did one of these. I don't need a tunic, or I don't need a whatever that she's making now. I'm like, but I do. I need it.
All of it.
I love this. I wear it to work as regularly as your wardrobe cycles, but I wear this pretty consistently.
Yeah.
I love the color. It is Lion Brand's Kobu in the color silver. Everybody says it looks purple. It looks purple in this room because of the wall, but everybody says there's a very slight purple tint to it.
Yeah.
I actually really like.
There's a picture of you in this sweater on Instagram in the sun, and that's where I can really see that it's a silvery gray. But indoors, it suddenly has a purple hue.
Yeah, it's like fluorescent lighting or something, which is also what I'm in at work, what I'm in, everywhere it looks purplish. I loved working on this. It was a really great project. It came together very quickly. I started it in March and finished it in July. So, for a whole pullover, that is not bad.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I love it. It's great. Go check her out. I stitched with a lot of cotton this year. I think I talked about that earlier in the year, but I was like, man, everything I've done has been in cotton or this one thing in acrylic.
Cotton is a good fiber for this area, I think. I mean, you don't like to be hot, so cotton is gonna keep you cooler.
Cotton's nice. Yeah. All right. That's everything. That's all I have.
That's everything I have. Oh no, I have a crochet finished.
Oh, no, do it.
I'm
Quickly.
such a bad person. Okay. So this is Rose and Leaf, and I did not write down who the pattern is by because I'm a terrible person. But this is all those tiny crochet flowers.
Oh, yes.
And then I crocheted. These are to be thrown at my wedding. And look, guys, I crocheted many. There's a lot.
That is amazing. So just every time you have like a scrap of left, you do a rose?
Yeah, I have a jar that I'm kind of keeping some scraps in that are like available for this project. It does need to be fingering weight. And so right now I don't want to use the purple from this shawl because I had enough of it left over for something nicer than just flowers. So the shawl that I'm working on though, I might have some good scraps from the floor shawl. And so just, it's a lot of like stuff that's pretty much anything that's too small to really be used in something else I have turned into.
Too small for a hat, it can make a couple roses.
Yeah. So and I just spilled them everywhere, so I'm just picking them up. But yeah, they're really fun to crochet, really easy, and I just love them. And they'll be thrown out at my wedding. And they're all different colors. Like here's a nice dark.
I love that. I love that idea. Like, so instead of a flower girl dropping like real flowers or whatever you're gonna do.
Or like silk petals, like fake silk petals. So
yeah,
it'll be these cool crochet flowers. So
that is adorable and amazing.
I think it'll be fun. But yeah, that's everything we finished. That's an amazing like parade of objects. I just can't believe how much work we've put into all of our crafting this year. And that's like not including all the other crap that you do, Lauren. I don't do other crap, but you do all this other crap. Like you built a village for your board game.
Yeah, we built a village. We just did cookie day yesterday. More than 12 hours of baking. My feet are still crying. They're still unhappy with me. We do a lot of stuff. So like, I always feel like I'm not making progress, but considering the time I have, I feel like I still make decent progress. So
I think everything you've shown, like you have 2 finished garments. That's awesome. Like, don't belittle that.
I'm pleased.
I am pleased too. Well, guys, I think this is the end of our wrap-up video for 2021. We have shown you everything we have finished across the 2 crafts that we do primarily. And I think you can see we've dabbled in a lot of different directions, tried a lot of different techniques, tried larges and smalls and everything. So it's been fun.
It's been a really great year of growth. Like we both we're like, I'm gonna try and master a skill here. I'm gonna try and figure this thing out. So I feel like we've both done a lot of that.
Yes, I think so. And I look forward to our goals video, which will be coming up next.
Yeah.
Where we get to talk about what we're going to be doing in 2022.
Yes, and some fun acquisitions we got for our Christmas presents and stuff.
Yes, of course.
So we will be.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.